Hey everyone, just a quick heads up before we get started. Around the 30-minute mark, you might notice a slight noise change in the audio. There was a bit of a glitch during the recording, but I did my best to fix it. I figured out the solution to make sure that never happens again. But thanks for understanding, and I hope you enjoy the podcast.
Martial arts isn't a good.
You said you've been deadlifting?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we recording right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just started.
Yeah, it's been good. I've been working out more, got a gym membership
Okay.
on top of
I'm listening. I'm just getting to topics.
That's fine. So yeah, I've been doing that, doing a lot of extra cardio. Just trying to focus on my stances a little bit more. Realized at this point where I'm doing my training level wise, I'm really starting to notice my weak spots.
Where are your weak spots at? Just almost took the table out.
So prior to going to the gym, which I've only been going heavy at that for maybe about a month or two.
Yeah.
Right after like Thanksgiving. Shoulders, weak spot, and my legs were.
Shoulders too? Dude, my shoulder's been killing. I think it's from my dad. He's got a bad shoulder. I don't know if your dad has a bad shoulder.
I have a bad shoulder.
What did you do to cause that? Was it like something stupid?
No. Well, I mean, I guess it was, but it was during breaking at a tournament. So
Was it an elbow strike?
I did a back fist or hammer fist, sorry, coming across, and I overextended.
You told me this.
Yeah, I think it was actually the last one of the videos.
You told me this. I think that actually happened
So
on that
one,
podcast.
You know, it popped, and then cartilage in the back is kind of cracked.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful thing.
But that wasn't like, I guess they're both weak. This one's not bad.
Yeah.
This one's kind of bad, but with working them out and doing weightlifting, it kind of like takes the shoulder and it kind of closes it.
I get scared when because what happened to me is I did the same thing, but it was on a bag, but it popped and it went back in.
Mhm.
But the thing is, like, sometimes it got inflamed, so I have to like stretch it. But I was worried, thinking that I would like break it more by stretching, because that's the crappy thing about karate or any style. It's like the stretching sucks because you don't know if you're gonna hurt yourself or if you're helping yourself here.
Yeah. And honestly, I didn't work out my shoulders for, okay, I did after the injury, but there was a period where it was getting really bad and it would keep dislocating, right?
Cool.
So I stopped working out my shoulders completely. I would do everything else, chest, biceps, the triceps, abs, back, everything except for my shoulders, which wasn't really smart, but I wanted to keep myself still physically, had a good physique and good stamina, right? So it wasn't until that point where I was like, okay, I really need to go to the doctor to figure out this is muscular or if this is joint related or something like that, because I wanted to know, can I work this out? Can I stretch it crazy without making it worse? So eventually I did all that. And I asked my doctor and he said that I'm able to exercise it normally because it's cartilage. So it's not like...
When did this happen?
The injury happened when I was 19.
Oh, you're still suffering with that?
Until the surgery. Yeah. It doesn't go away. I mean, it gets better. Like
I always thought it got better.
It's the cartilage won't heal itself, but the joint itself is stronger. Like it's really hard to dislocate it now.
Now, the topic that somebody asked me, it was on Discord. Oh my God, I just got rid of it. Oh crap. I got rid of the first message. Oops.
Something along the lines of, are martial arts different or how are they different? Is that what the question was?
Yeah, like how does I'm guessing they're asking what is the difference between most martial arts, like if they're all the same or if they differentiate.
Okay. So
and the other one is, I can't believe I deleted it. And the second one is, does martial arts help the real world?
Okay. So first part, I guess there could be slight opinions towards this, but I'm going to speak what I know from it. So some people might disagree. They'll be like, nah, or I might be missing something when I try to answer this, but I'll try to the best of my ability with this. So from my understanding and from what I've been researching over all these years is some martial arts are similar. And then some are totally different. Like if you're comparing apples to oranges, and then some are like apples to pears. For example, we both do Tang Soo Do, right? It's a South Korean martial art. There's also Taekwondo. A lot of people know that one more because it's just such a name that you hear all around. You don't hear Tang Soo Do as much. But Taekwondo is also South Korean. They're both They both stem from the same original style, which is Murukwan Subakdo, right? So
it all originates from something.
They all started from one thing, and then they started to split. So that would be the more similar martial arts that I would say is like apples to pears, where it's the same idea, but one side decides to take it a different direction rather than the other one.
Yeah.
But then you go to compare. It's like, okay, you got Kung Fu, which is a martial art, but it's not karate. A lot of people are going to say that Korean karate is not karate either. I know that's a thing.
I hate that.
Because true form of karate, if we're going by the book, is from Japan. That's where it originated from, in Okinawa.
Yep.
So most of the Korean martial arts take...
Write it in the notes.
They take forms and moves from the Japanese styles. The Koreans do have some of their own things, but a lot of the forms do stem from Japan. Even some of our Korean forms actually do stem from China and in other different places as well.
Yep.
So there's also that. You have styles that take from each other and then they build up their own, especially the more current and newer styles that have been around maybe only like 50, 60 years. So,
yeah, well said on that.
Yeah, but then you also have the stuff where it's like, okay, you got a martial art where it's a striking art, and then you have a grappling art like jiu-jitsu compared to taekwondo. One does a lot of kicks and one is completely grappling, right? So you got that dynamic, and you also have stuff like capoeira, which is its own thing from the other side of the world. And there's also stuff from the European side. I don't want to say names because I don't want to mess this up and it gets put in.
Oh, no.
I think it's like pancration or something.
Pancration?
I think it's pancration.
Is it European?
Right?
Yeah,
it's like a really old martial art that they used to use in the Olympics.
Say it again?
Beginning. I think it's pancration.
Pancration, European martial arts. Let's see what we found. Was an unarmed combat sport introduced into the Greek Olympic Games in 648 BC, and it's called pancration.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, I wasn't wrong with that. So
that's on Wikipedia, by the way. So
that might be true, that might be not, but that's at least what I saw.
I'm sure it's correct.
But that's a really old martial art, right? If it's true, 648 BC, I mean, there's some martial arts that are still being made today. So that could be considered super traditional.
Good point.
And who knows how many arts started just from that idea, right? So I also read, and I'm not trying to ramble for this one question.
You're good. This is good.
Since I practice Taekwondo, I bought the book that has the history of it. Subakdo was like the original martial art, kind of like how pancration was like old.
Yeah.
Subakdo was like what they used in Korea back when they were doing like dynasty wars.
That's legit. I actually didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Ancient time, it was called Subakdo. That was just their combat training. It wasn't really like how we deem a martial art now, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna learn Kyokushin. Not like, oh, that's, you think of it as,
oh my God, yeah,
style, right? It's like, no, what they considered it is, that's all they knew. That was just fighting to them, right? Korean fighting is,
yeah, it was all the same thing.
So just like how in Europe they had like knights and stuff, I'm sure they had a term for that too, where it's like they just see it as fighting. They don't see it as European fighting. They're like, this is just how we fight. So Subakdo was like the Korean one, and that was from, I should have brought the book for that, but it was around the same
That's
time
the point.
as pancration. It was a long time ago. So there's a lot of that book too. It's some really cool stuff, and new age stuff. There's new styles and new ways to do things that are just reinventing the wheel, you know, more or less making it better. So there's a lot of differences with martial arts, and there's a lot of cool things that come out of it, and there's new ideas all the time.
It's good answer. I think from like my opinion, all martial arts is different. They're all the same, but we're talking about the difference part in a sense. I mean, the only reason why I say they're the same is it's an art, and, you know, like, it all comes with the same discipline, you know. But for the difference is like, you know, the only difference for me that I see is how far we are willing to learn. Like, that's what I think the difference is. Like, you know, you got a guy in Taekwondo, and he's a master, and he's been teaching for so long, and he only teaches Taekwondo. This is how it is. This is all he does. But I feel like to mix it up and be unique, you could teach a little bit differently. But the issue is, I think when it comes down to like, this is how we were taught, this is the way, this is how it should be, I feel like the reason why it's so different is because everybody believes that this is how it should be. There's no unique way of learning. It's just their own way, which I really respect too, because that's a lot of honor in what they do. And I give them so much for that. Like when it comes to Tang Soo Do, you and I have probably done it. I think before any other martial art, I've dedicated my time to Tang Soo Do because I believed in what it valued for my life. Like I believe that I'm going to tell you, the repetition I have folding my clothes versus recognizing a form were crazy different. Like, I could not fold my clothes for the life of me. Tang Soo Do, for me, teaches you discipline, repetition, and super, super, super confidence. Like, some of the stuff in Tang Soo Do is so fun. Spinning hook kicks, jumping back kicks, the one steps are always fun. It felt intense doing that thing. And then, you have Krav Maga, which is like, beat the living crap out of someone. And that just teaches like a lot about cardio, more endurance and strength. And I like how they all have their own flavor, and it's good.
For everyone.
Yeah, literally. It's like you got an umbrella, and then each umbrella has their own like piece of like what that consists of, like Taekwondo umbrella, Tang Soo Do umbrella, Krav Maga umbrella. But then you got MMA, and actually I gotta backtrack for a second. And I think you and I did Tang Soo Do more than any other art.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was what was it called? When did you decide to change it up and do jiu-jitsu or boxing? How many years did you do Tang Soo Do until it broke the chain where you did something else? Yeah.
I was convinced to do it earlier than I did.
Yeah.
But I started doing jiu-jitsu. I was like, I think I was like 17, so it's probably like already 10 years into Tang Soo Do training. I was already a black belt in that.
Yeah. Okay.
Second degree.
That sounds about right.
At that point, it kind of slowed down, and I wanted to learn something new that was fresh.
Yeah. Yep.
So I started to take up. I did Japanese jiu-jitsu, not Brazilian, but I did that, and it helped me out a lot. And then as soon as I started doing that, it just kind of opened up my brain and my mindset. Yeah. Hey, let's just keep trying new things to see how they are.
Yeah, that's what the martial arts life is all about. It's all about just like exploring yourself. It can also be about connecting and everything. That's all great. But like the difference in martial arts is, it's just like the difference of any culture. Think of food, Italian food, Indian food, Asian food. You know what I mean? So it's like, or a Chinese food. So it's like, I think about all these different, and like I said, everybody has their own flavor. I like this because of what it has in it. Like martial arts, I like this because of what it has in it. You see what I'm saying? So everybody but what I will say about this, because I don't want people thinking just choose this. Never be afraid to like mix it up. You know what I mean? MMA can have a lot of different. It's mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
But you only know as much as the teacher knows. That's the thing. You only know as much as the teacher teaches you.
Agreed.
And that's why me as a teacher, I want to make sure my students get the best value. So I want to be that difference. Sometimes I think I want to be like Bruce Lee. And I'm sorry for rambling now. It's my turn to ramble. Okay. But like, I want to be like Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee invented Jeet Kune Do and everybody laughed at him and said, that's BS, dude. That's BS. And he was like, all right, come on, let's go. I'll show you. And now it's like one of the best martial arts out there. All because like he changed it up. He mixed it up. He combined things. That's why I feel like as much as I love the honorary tradition, people keep tradition and I value that, but it doesn't hurt to mix it up and like combine a few things. The other thing he wanted to say was, you remember the question? Because I'm going to try to go back to it.
Okay.
Yes, it does. Martial arts, he wants to know if martial arts helps the real world. Yeah. Yep. It's that easy, dude.
In more ways than one, and in more ways than a person would think, especially if you haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
I feel like we could both answer back and forth on this, like a consoling type of thing here.
Yeah.
So, of course, you're going to benefit from the cardio, the exercise, the flexibility, the muscle, the mindset.
Yep.
And obviously, the self-defense aspect of it. But I feel like it also just blends into your natural everyday life.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I think that's honestly where you see it the most, because you're not always going to be, grappling someone or striking someone or defending yourself from a knife every day. And I hope not, because that would kind of suck. But for those that have, that's great that you know it. But
Yeah.
more than not, you're going to be at work, and sometimes it's keeping your cool, teaching yourself patience, giving yourself resiliency, willpower. That all gets derived from the training as well, even though it might not be, even if your instructor doesn't beat it into you, the thought of this is going to be like your mindset.
Yeah.
You will just naturally grab the mindset from just learning the things that you were taught.
Yeah. That's good. Are you all set?
That's my answer.
Sorry. Yeah, that was a good answer. I think I agree. It's just, mindset is a big thing. I think that when it comes down to, like, for me in martial arts, and this is based off experience, definitely, especially someone with ADHD, I'm just gonna be real with you. My ADHD, especially unmedicated, all that stuff, martial arts saved me, like, without a doubt. Like, and I highly recommend anybody that has ADHD or any type of thing going on, take martial arts. It's definitely, it's a mental, life-changing thing. Like, it's a new you, it's a new pathway of life, you know what I mean? Like, I sit here and I thank God that martial arts was brought into my life, because it's like, I meet amazing people that, like, give me pretty good guidance, if you ask me. I've met a lot of people, and I pick and choose what I'll use for my own life. Like, some people, like for you, I think if you taught me, like, holy crap, you don't need just to study one weapon, you could study all of them, because you went from nunchucks to bow staff to kamas. I was like, this guy's crazy. So I ended up picking up a little bit of that, because I wanted to try to be a little bit like you. So I think it's all about just humility too. Another thing, like Javon said, it's if you're in a fight, you gotta chill. Like, you gotta understand, like, even if your instructor doesn't have to teach you something like where it can hurt somebody, but something to the point where it's like, is this really worth it? Do I really have to? Oh, it's like, I know you feel in that moment, you feel good, you feel like you're about to mess this dude up, but in that moment, is it worth it? And martial arts teaches you that stuff that the average person doesn't. You know exactly where to hit. You know exactly how to move. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if you do manage to hit it, bad things can happen. Like, they can end up in the hospital. You know what I mean? They can get, like, really badly injured. So I think martial arts teaches you about, like, common sense before self-defense kind of deal. It's the ironic
before self-defense.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I think, like, when you look at it, it's just, common sense before self-defense. Literally, it's just think about what you're gonna do before you do it. But yeah, that was a good question, Kiro. Thank you for that. There was nobody else that sent other questions, but I did look up some stuff to go based on topic, and I was looking at some other things. The future of martial arts. Okay. A lot of people are calling things bullshito now with what I've been seeing, and dude, I've been looking it up. It's, anybody would believe martial arts is anything. There's this one dude. There's this one guy. He makes everyone believe that him forcing, he has the force, basically. So if you charge at him, he'll send this, like, wave at you, and people bought into it. People actually freaking bought into it. And then some MMA guy goes, oh, I'll fight him. And then next thing you know, it was actually at National, and the guy ended up going on stage, and the MMA dude was ready to challenge him. And mind you, this guy was, like, sending people back. There's videos of people he's just flicking people, flicking, and the energy was just sending him. Have you ever seen this? I'm watching the video. The students are throwing. They're getting thrown. They believe it. And I think, like, when it comes to the future of martial arts, I think people need to be careful on what they choose to, because you don't know what you're really paying for. You should do your research, in my opinion. And that's why I started off with that very long story. It's just, I don't want people getting gypped. I've seen like stuff where there's this one guy, and he's for the people that don't know what I'm doing, I'm basically just about to flap my hands out like a bird. But he's just like, this is it. This is it. You punched me. And then they go,
Then the guy's like, "Oh, cool." He's like, and that's the kappa. It's a kappa. What the hell is a kappa? So anyway, I just think you got to be careful with what you choose for the future martial, for what you want to do in the future, especially for martial arts training. I don't know. I hate it because people just will open up a school, call it karate, kick and punch, you get a belt. And he's got some very not okay, healthy instructors. I've seen it. What about you? What do you think? Pick and choose?
Same exact question.
Yeah. Like, what do you think the future of martial arts is? Like, how would you define?
Where it's going?
As where it's going, yeah. Like, I said the bad stuff.
Okay.
But like, I'll say the good stuff in a minute, but if you want to say the good and bad, go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to try to answer this the best way I can.
Look.
So as I've been researching just other martial artists, meeting them as well, if I'm to say this answer from a personal standpoint and what I've seen with my own eyes, I see that the future of martial arts, and this is because I do a lot of tournaments now, but I see it going more sport than it is actual self-defense.
Yeah.
Which is great because I feel like karate did deserve to be recognized as a sport for so long.
It should have been this whole time. Yeah.
It's actually considered a sport, but it's not an Olympic sport 100% yet.
I thought it was getting banned.
They were flip-flopping between breakdancing and having karate in the last Olympics.
What? Karate needs to stay.
Breakdancing won for that year. I don't know if they're going to go back and forth.
No, they're not going to bring it back. They're not bringing back
Sure
breakdance.
a lot of people watched the breakdance video of the girl from Australia. So that was the breakdancing from the Olympics.
Bro, why did they...
That wasn't the whole thing. But that was
What a great way to...
you guys could picture that. Like, that was the Olympic. But it was either...
That was their best. That was their best, man.
It was the breakdancing or karate. So hopefully karate gets its way in. There is Taekwondo in the Olympics.
Always, yeah.
There is boxing and there is wrestling. Technically, if you put all those three together, you have a martial art anyway. But,
Yeah, you're pretty solid.
karate, from what I'm assuming they're thinking about for the Olympics, is actual kata forms, gyons. Possibly more sparring. That's karate based rather than Taekwondo points and all that system. Who knows? Maybe they'll even do some type of form of grappling that's not wrestling, maybe like a jiu-jitsu or something.
Yeah.
They have judo already, so maybe not that. But I see it going more sport, and there's actually there's a term now, sport karate.
Sport karate? Is it the one where they're one's red and one's blue, and they're like in that really wide stance though?
I mean, that's just sparring.
Yeah. I didn't know if that was like...
Sport karate would technically be the broad term of what it is.
Okay.
Because you have...
It's just a mix of everything?
It's just the sportified version with the rules. Like, there's different rules for sport karate.
Do they have the sensors or the point system still from judges?
From what I know, it's point system.
No sensors?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Yet. Maybe they do.
I like that they have judges sometimes. I like the judges.
I've been seeing judges. But, so like sports karate would be like US Open. Pretty sure that's still considered sport karate with that. Yeah, like all these big ones. The one that's in Canada. There's one in New York. There's all these different... I don't want to draw a blank with this, but there's all these different, like, you got NASCA, you got Crane, you got ISKA, you have all these different...
ISKA, yeah.
Groups, right? Or like...
Forgot about those guys.
Well, what would you call it? That's a circuit, right? All these different circuits. Those are sport karate circuits. So they have their own sets of rules based off of their rule set. And it's not like they're actually doing MMA fights, right? It's karate, but it's for the sport of karate, right? So you got forms, you got weapons. Some of them have breaking, but they also have a different association for that. You got like the WBA, World Breaking Association and stuff like that. Which happens to be big around here, Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts. Which I do have friends that do that as well. But I feel like it's going to sport. I feel like we do need to cling a little bit to the practicality too, but I feel like now there's a split.
Okay.
So you might want to cut this out to make it shorter because I feel like I've been rambling. That could have been explained
No,
so much easier.
You're good. The whole part. Well, we have an hour. We have 30 minutes left, so you're good.
Okay, yeah, because I don't want to ramble, and it's like, yeah, you could have just said 5 words.
No.
Explain the same thing.
But fine. I had some guy in Discord just ask a couple more questions too, so this is good.
That's fine. Is this live?
No, it's not live.
Okay.
It's just people are asking late.
Gotcha. That's
No
fine.
offense, guys. We love you.
So, yeah, I feel like there's going to be a split now. Before, karate was just karate, right? It was, you got everything together. If you did tournaments, you're still learning the same thing that you do for the practical stuff and throw it into the tournament and you compete against each other with it, right?
Yeah.
Now you have sport karate, now you have practical. And then you also have the other sport where it goes into the MMA round, which is almost its own thing, where MMA is deemed, it's just, that's it, MMA. But it's really just a bunch of different martial arts put together. Then you have the UFC for that, right? So it's all divvied up, and one might be really good at sport karate, but then when it comes to the practical sense, they might lack. Same thing vice versa. If you're really good practical, you go to compete in a tournament, you might do good, but you're not showing what the sport karate people want to see because it's not tailored exactly to the rule sets and such like that. They're all great, and I feel like everyone should be well balanced when it comes to training, as much as possible. But if you want to focus on one more than another, that's great. Just make sure you don't ignore one over the other. Yeah, make sure you try to keep yourself balanced because you don't want to put all the training that you learn as a whole and then just forget about the rest to focus on one thing.
Yeah. How about technology though? Do you think, okay, because I saw no, this is, I just thought of this just now. What do you think of the technology with like boxing VR? There's people that are boxing in rings and they have VR. Do you think that's general, and they're real boxers. Do you think that really?
So it's VR person against a VR person?
It's a VR person against a VR person.
So it's online.
It's online. And they're right next to each other sometimes too, because it'd be local.
As long as...
Do you consider that martial arts?
VR boxing?
VR boxing.
Well, I consider boxing a martial art.
Okay.
I think if we're trying to say VR boxing is a martial art, I feel like it's a tool.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to think of another example. Pretty sure that we had boxing too, right?
We had boxing, but you were just flailing your arms. There's people that actually like have done championships against people for VR. I just didn't know if it like would make people better, because I know they're trying to advance it where it's like augmented reality, where it's like more gloves, more realistic feeling, instead of beating the same person.
Well, I could see it as being
yeah, that'd be cool,
like a sport, like a gaming sport. But I wouldn't be able to answer that correctly, because who knows if that guy who's really good at boxing on that game
is really good at boxing in real life. Yeah.
So
yeah.
And also, actually, there's another reason why too, is because one, you're not gonna feel the hits on the game or the simulator or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's got to be like a realistic.
You might have the shadow boxing and the combos and all the technique and even the cardio, because even just shadow boxing is tiring, but you're not getting hit, you're not running around the real ring, and you don't really have a super huge threat. There's still be some type of threat because you don't want to lose, but you're not gonna have the threat of this is gonna hurt. So
this next one is gonna be a very interesting topic, and I think this is probably gonna be the closer. But one of my ladies in Discord posted, and she would like to be anonymous, and I respect that. But she said, for women in martial arts, do women approach training differently than men? And I don't know how to answer that way, because we don't have a girl here, but I was thinking that maybe we could answer from a man's perspective. What have you seen based on the women training and how they interact with everybody around them?
Honestly, I'm not even gonna say it's affected by the gender.
Okay.
From what I've seen it as a personal thing. So they come in, and I'm saying they as a general, like men, woman, whatever,
Yep.
kid, adult. They come into a class or into a style or some type of martial art, and they want to get something out of it.
Yep.
Right. So they already have a mindset of, oh, I want to do this because I want to get fit. I want to do this because I want to focus on discipline.
Yep.
I want to do this because I need to be more flexible, or I need to have more mobility in my hips or something like that, right?
Yep.
So specifically from women, from what I've seen, I've seen it from the exercise standpoint for ones that are older, like, you know, I'm not even going to put age to it, but like people that, you know, you want to keep the mobility in your body, right? Great for flexibility. I've seen women do it for that. Men too, but I've seen a lot of women do it for that. You see a lot of these like cardio kickboxing classes and stuff that are like raving now. And a lot of women like to do that too.
Yeah.
So it kind of like works hand in hand with that. For younger, I'm talking about really young, same as any boy, it would be like just for exercise and sport and such. I would say for middle age, like I'm talking about teenagers and up, then that's when you have a little bit of like a weird gray area, because obviously all of them probably have done it for self-defense, but specifically around that age range, I've seen a lot of want for practical self-defense. And if you're to get attacked by anyone, because you start to get scared, you know.
Yeah.
Growing up, and you start to realize that, you know, the world isn't really that nice out there. So
No.
I would say that
Oh, no, full of sunshine and rainbows.
so I would say that between teenagers into their 20s, 30s, honestly, around there, that big range. Titanium? Okay. So I would say that there's more self-defense desire, which is great. There's a lot of women self-defense seminars I've been seeing, which is awesome. And I've actually helped out a few seminars a long time ago. It's been a while, but I've helped out with those as well. And it's great. And I'm glad that there's a lot of women that actually want to...
It's making a difference like that too.
It makes a difference. And I'm glad that we could help someone else feel more confident, because a lot of it is the confidence. Once you get past that, very little technique sometimes is all that you need to get out of a situation.
Yeah, that's literally it.
I would say, I don't know if that really answers the question, but in a broad sense, that would be my answer, I guess.
No, that's kind of good. That's the point to talk about it. That's good. Like, for me, your women approach training differently than men. Well, in my experience, let's start off young, you know, little kid, you know, got a father protecting a daughter kind of deal. Want to make sure she's well protected, you know. There's a lot of fresh kids out there, sure. Let's be honest, kids don't know any better for kids. But you want to prepare your little girl for that. That's how I feel if I ever have a daughter. I was just a crying out.
Definitely.
The other thing is, let's say like they get a little older, the same rules apply. You know, teenagers. It's all about just, I hate to say it, but I think there's a lot of men out there that are too nice to women these days, and it's getting to the point where women should absolutely protect themselves and wear self-defense. But I think when they approach it, they're approaching it as, I want to feel safe here, and I want to know how to get out of a spot. Whether, and you know, I think that may not be the case all the time. Maybe it's, I don't want to wear a day fit. You know, I'm looking for a cardio, I'm looking for a workout, I'm looking for sweat. And I think that's like a common thing for men too. But when I've seen girls in class, I definitely say there's obviously different everybody gets from different cardio, physique, strength. But the people that are really good, I've noticed in my experience, girls try to really keep up with the guys, you know, and really try, because you got a big group of men, most of the guys, most of the men in the martial arts world. And from what I've seen, it's most of the guys. And then you get a girl that comes in, she's looking to kick some butt, or she don't really know. But the more comfortable she gets, the better she gets. The more she wants to try to step up. I don't know if you're gonna see those girls that like want to be like really strong, like they talk smacks to the guy, and but it's really competitive. Like from what I've, for example, because I want to make sure I'm reading the question right again. I think some of them guys some of them look at it as a safe space, and then some of them look at it as just a way to exercise. And that's what I've seen. I'll give an example of the three. You exercise, more girl just comes in for the guy. She wants to kick butt. That's it. She don't care. She don't really care. She likes the knowledge. She likes all that. She comes in, she does her thing, and then she leaves. I like that. Let's like that. The second one, looking for a safe space from a guy. you got these guys that are like, these guys look like gorillas, huge, they're massive. And you got these gorillas that are like 4'8", about like 6'3" guys that are like beating the crap out of these guys. This girl feels probably the safest she's ever felt. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The other one, just, who's the other one I said I lost track of? Was, cardio, safe space, and the,
Competition?
competition. Thank you. Some of them just want to prove themselves.
Yeah.
Some of them just want to be like, hey, man, you know what? I can do it. It's like, hell yeah, girl, do it. You know? And let's support that 100 times.
And honestly, speaking from what I've seen, if we're talking about at least in the competitive world, tournaments and stuff,
Yeah, feisty. Raise.
some of the martial artists that are women are probably some of the best martial artists out there.
I'm just they're badass.
General, because
Sorry about that, Mike.
no, it's okay. I just didn't decide to hold it. But
Those are the facts that you told us, though.
yeah, so I've seen a lot of great women martial artists, and it's amazing to see what they could do. That, not saying the guy can't do it, but they could do it with a little more ease than the guy could do, especially the flexibility stuff. So
There's so much.
I do appreciate that. Yeah. No.
They're sharp. I must say that. The microphone keeps falling on John's.
It's okay.
These are so much power and strength or emotion. And we're quite hard, sure. But like, I don't know, man. There's some one girl that when what's the name of that trophy right there? The one with the pointy one. What does that say? What does that one say?
Shoreline karate.
There's this one girl. She had this open weapon turn and open weapon second, and then open and then did normal traditional weapons. This girl, dude, I feel like I was watching it again. It was so cool to watch. She made it look like it was I was like in the theater, dude. It felt like the lights were dimmed and it was just her. And her motion, she was like, she would give, and if people, sorry, again, I'm moving, people can't hear, if you only hear me, but like, she would do this, she would go, and she'd go, and then she'd go, boom, and I'm like, oh my God, her energy was just, it filled the room, you know, it's just like, it's nice, and she had the emotion, she had the energy. I just look at that, and I'm like, you can't put it, I don't know, man, you can't put that energy on a guy. Guys are naturally, full of testosterone.
I'd say it was like crisp tension.
Crisp tension, I like that, yeah. But that was we went further to the topic of the women approach martial arts. But yeah, from what I think we both see, it's all about those three things: cardio, self-defense, competition. I think that's what it is. But
Yeah, for it to split it up, cut or something. Yeah, I would say that.
do you think martial arts is worth it? Yeah. Like this. Do you think martial arts is worth it? Because the chances of getting attacked are very low these days.
Okay, I understand that question. I get it.
And I often think like two things. One, are you in your house all the time? Two, respectfully, I think everybody's getting attacked every single day. But like the chances of you getting attacked are very low. It is true.
So I think I know. You can answer. Go ahead.
You're good. I just think the chances of you getting attacked are very low. I just think that the whole point is like I'm not trying to join martial arts for the point of I'm willing to beat the crap out of anybody and like defend myself every possible turn. It's more I'm willing to change my life for the better, because just like going to a gym, martial arts has all the steps I need like a gym would. And I look at that and I take it very carefully, because this is my body, it's my mind, and I want to make sure I'm taking care of it. So sure the chances of getting attacked are very low. Sure, why not? Based on you, I don't even think you've never gonna fight before, have you?
No.
Yeah, so it's just like right here. Perfect example. It's just how long you gonna martial arts for?
21 years.
21 years. Have you ever gotten into like altercations?
Yes, I had a lot of times where I could have gotten into a fight and I talked myself out of it. Or not, sorry, let me rephrase that. I didn't talk myself out of it. I talked my way out of it.
Okay, yeah. See, and that's the part a lot of people don't like. It's martial arts. why learn it if you're if you plan on like doing stuff like that? But I'm like, dude, you're missing the whole point of it.
It's also to learn not to get into it.
But that's the mindset you don't want, because a lot of these meathead martial artists out there are just willing to beat the crap out of you and call it a day. That's what they think it's all about. It's really not that.
There's a lot of risk too.
You can answer now. I'm good with that one.
Trying to remember the question again. Okay.
It was just, do you think martial arts is worth it because the chances are you're getting attacked are really low?
Okay, so I want to hit that question a little different. So I do believe, in a sense, that your chances of getting attacked are lower than they were 10, 15 years ago. Reason being, and some might disagree with that, but I'm going to explain why I'm answering it like this.
I see what you're doing. I think I don't.
You already know why. Okay, so
We're gonna build this up.
Okay, so I graduated high school 10 years ago, right? So back when I was growing up, everyone that was a teenager or whatever, everyone was very, at least from what I saw, they seemed to be very hostile. Fights were breaking out all the time. It was kind of like just a war zone. In
High school?
in Waterbury.
Waterbury?
So, plus the stories I've heard of many people getting into fights, it just seemed like if you didn't know the right people, you might get into an altercation, right?
Yeah,
so,
true.
and also even just taking classes as a young person, right? Basically, as a teenager, the whole high school was in karate, so you tended to spar really, really, really hard. So it's kind of like survive the sparring class, please. Nowadays, I've been noticing that, and I'm not trying to point out anything, but I guess, kids growing up, it's a little different. It's not the same way as when I was younger. Everyone was trying to be super. I'm not trying to make it sound like, everyone's. It's just life changes.
I'm dead.
Life changes. So the way that everything is going now, life-wise, it's not really the same thing. It's not like people are still sport orientated. Some people are athletes, some people work out still, but it's slowly changing. So a lot of people aren't trying to pick fights. And if they do pick fights, they don't pick fights the same way. You might not get bullied physically, but you might get bullied through social media. You might get bullied through harassment. There's so many different ways that back then it was mainly just, you got your ass kicked, basically. So
that's a good point. You brought up internet, you said?
I said internet because I think there's more mental attacks rather than physical.
I was just thinking the same thing, dude.
Yeah.
That it's just the amount of social attacks hurt more than physical attacks. I can be, for some reason, getting hit almost puts me like, everyone watched Iron Fist? When he got hit, he loved it. I feel weird saying this, but I don't like getting hit.
Yeah.
It makes me feel stronger in that moment. But reading something about me, and I can't do anything about it except sit there and accept it, it's a freaking hard pill to swallow.
Very harsh.
So
I would say, adding to that, is it worth it still because of that? Yes. And the reason why I still say yes is because training in martial arts, even though it is physical, is also going to train you mentally as well. So if I was to go based off of the fact that I believe that there's more mental and emotional attacks rather than physical, you will learn to treat yourself better in the way of your confidence will rise, your self-esteem will rise. You will tend to love yourself better in a sense. I'm not saying you wouldn't love yourself if you didn't, but you will learn to like different traits about yourself. So your confidence will be high. You'll be able to handle when people try to attack you and try to just attack you mentally and emotionally and try to put you down in the ground, right? They're trying to make you feel like crap. You'll be able to feel so confident within yourself and so there's a term for it, but basically like
self-discipline?
No, like you're self-loving. You're just really confident and
self-righteous, self-loving.
You're good in your safe space inside your own body, right? So basically, someone tries to say something to you, you're like, well, that's your opinion. Okay, whatever. You can't really hurt me with that. And it's still gonna be hard. Do not get me wrong. It's still very hard. But since that's the way that I see how life is going and how it's starting to change, you will get that with martial arts training as well, because your mind and body will learn to work as a team. So as you focus on physical conditioning, you'll get mental conditioning. With the pushing yourself in the discipline, you will get emotional strength.
Nice.
You know, you'll be able to tie it all together, so you're growing equally as much as you can possible.
That's good.
Rather than just, okay, I know how to fight, but if this guy says something bad about me, I'm gonna cry. No, you're gonna, you're gonna find like you might teeter-totter your way through like the ranks when you're like, okay, maybe your self-esteem is a little low, but your physical conditioning is high, but you're still going up. Eventually they meet and you become a whole. And from there, to answer and finalize this question, I believe that martial arts will be able to protect you in more than one way, not just physical as what people may think.
More mental too, in my opinion.
Mental as well, yeah.
So don't disregard martial arts, because for starters, it's kind of cool getting a bag, you know? It's kind of nice learning a side kick or a front kick or something that, sure, you're paying to learn it, but it's worth it, you know? Obviously, do your research. But I think Javon made a good point when he said the chances of you are getting attacked are low, but they are actually lower if you do it. Because chances are the average person is more likely to get attacked than a martial artist, because they're more aware of their surroundings than the average person. I think like walking in New York, I think I peek at like every single person, or as much as I can, because my awareness needs to be like, who's around me, what's going on, I'm with my girl, is she safe, you know what I mean? It's like, the people that don't know martial arts probably would think, and they think so differently too, and I'm not discriminating anyone, I'm sure people have logic, but in a martial arts world, it teaches you logic. If you never had logic, you'll get it through martial arts, because you think, should I go left? This is a very dumb analogy, but should I go left down that alley, or should I go right in the open area? You know what I mean? So it's just like, oh, sure, I know martial arts, I can risk it. Yeah, sure, but it's worth it. You know what I mean? It teaches you what's worth it, what's not. Which I really appreciate.
You also get self-awareness.
Yep.
You'll start seeing things that you didn't think you would see before, and you'll do it without thinking about it. You'll just have an instinct. It's
such a freaking superpower to like have the martial arts, because it's just something can be thrown at you, cat-like reflexes. I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, it happens.
It does happen. I've been told that when I walk around in a place I don't know, I tend to look 360. So like I'll walk around, I'll look left, right, and then sometimes I look over my shoulder. And I've had friends before ask me, they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And then they would say, you look like you're a little scared or paranoid. What's wrong? You keep looking over your shoulder. And I said, oh, do I? I didn't know. You know, I wouldn't even notice it. It's just, and it's not because I told myself do that. It's not even paranoia. Like, it's just like I'm self-aware. It's self-aware, and it's also more like curiosity. It's like I want to know what's behind me. I want to know what's over there. I want to see what's going on where I'm at, instead of just And the fact that you do, sorry to cut you off. No, you're fine. The fact that you do that makes the group feel safer, because it's just like they think you're paranoid, but you're just scouting. Yeah, you're scouting. That's what it is. And you won't even know it yourself. Yep. You don't think you're scouting. If someone's asking, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just here looking around. That's it. There's a difference between being ready versus paranoid. You're ready for anything that comes your way. But paranoid is like, you don't know what's coming. That's the thing. Paranoia is something's out there, but I don't know what it is. Versus, it's clear, I'm ready for anything. You know what I mean? If I see you, I'm ready. If I see you, I'm ready. So far, I see nothing. But if I see you, I'm ready. That's all it is. So, I think martial arts is probably the best thing out there. We got like 5-6 minutes in here. Is there anything you want to break down or talk about? Anything on your mind? I feel like it would be like a spin-off of one of the questions, but I'm just trying to remember. So at the moment, I do not. At the second. Here's we could do this one. I like this one. Should martial arts evolve, or is tradition key to its identity? So, okay. I was thinking about opening up a school where we have tradition,
and it's just kind of like, I think that's good. Just military. It came from the military. You know what I mean? So we need to respect its origin. You know, my girl, she got a little confused. She's like, "Why do you guys follow this? You know, why do you guys do this? Why do you guys have to bow to each other?" It's like, you know, it's kind of like how the tradition of the ceremonies at colleges or high school. It's like they don't have to line you all up and do the music. They can just give it to you. They can just, all right, college is done. Have a great day. Bye. We'll mail it to you. But they do this because it's something to remember. And it's also, that's how someone started it, and everybody liked it. Martial arts evolved. I always think it's evolving every single day because there's concept. If it wasn't evolving, we wouldn't have all these different schools like Bushido, I will say, or New Tempo. We wouldn't have new schools opening up. We wouldn't have these like people like Michael J. White teaching other people's different things that he used to learn. And now you got these like future kids. These kids are like 19 or 17 learning from him. They're getting bits and pieces of everything. And I think that's the beautiful thing about martial arts is even though there's traditional values, I find that you should keep them there for like obviously respect and discipline. I don't think that's going to be lost in the world of practicality. There's technicality and then there's practicality, like forms. The forms are always going to be there to teach you the technique behind it and the repetition and the discipline there. You know what I mean? So like everybody knows the punch is not going to be fully back in chamber and executing it, keeping it out. Now I got him. No, because we all know how punches will be.
Yep.
But you got to teach yourself how you get there.
You have to start from the traditional point.
Yep. And
Starting point.
No one knew what martial arts was until like what, late 60s or 70s or something like that in America. It's like it wasn't really recognized. I mean, boxing was like in the late.
You had
30s or
boxing
50s.
and wrestling and judo.
So it's just like not many things across the table, but everybody has their own concept, their own flavor, and they're mixing flavors, and I think that's even better because then you get something nice. You know, it's like adding garlic to something. It just tastes better sometimes. What do you think?
So,
You got time, Buff to the Lash.
what was the first part? Okay,
Finish this and then we can close out.
that's fine.
The question was, should martial arts evolve or is tradition keep to its identity?
Okay, so should it evolve? Yes, but I do think that you should not lose tradition.
Yeah, respect.
I think naturally because it's evolving so quickly, especially within the last, ever since the year 2000 to current.
Yep.
2000
years ago, right?
No, I'm saying like from the year 2000 to current. So like the past.
Talking about toasted old like 2,000 years ago.
No, like even now, the past 25 years since.
Okay, I've got you.
The year 2000 to 2025, the evolution of martial arts has grown so crazy. So because it's moving so fast, tradition is so easily lost and it could get lost so quick. So I feel like it should be focused on, some may agree or disagree on this, but I feel like there should always be some tradition upheld.
Yeah.
There's going to be some places that are going to do it more than others, some less, some none. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's a time and place for everything, and there's also a different place for everything. So you might find a school where they're completely traditional. Nothing that we would consider new age. I guess it's just strict by the book. If they never taught a throw in that style, you will not see a throw type of idea, right? Like, because it's just totally separate. There's some that are to that extreme, and there's some that mix, and there's some that are totally new. I feel like there's people that would like each one, and I feel like all of them should respect each other and also kind of like not be against each other, but kind of be on good tabs with each other, because my school, I would consider it traditional. Might not be the super utmost traditional because I haven't really been to a lot of schools, so I can't speak on that. But
Fair.
We do have tradition, and we uphold that because we know that that's our structure, and we like to build from that structure, the discipline off of that, right? So because of that, I like tradition. I'm a traditional martial artist. If you were to put a label on me, that's traditional martial artist, right? Bam.
Yeah,
on.
that's good though.
But then there's also like the new age stuff, which I'm just starting to get into, and I've been doing martial arts for, like I said, over 20 years already, and I'm just getting into it. And that's the cool thing about the new age stuff, is that there's new ways to train your body to where you could do it longer as well. So I don't know, like 30-40 years ago, you won't hear martial artists still competing, fighting and grappling at the age of 50, right?
Right.
But guess what? Now there's people grappling at the age of 60, 70 for titles, like belts, for belts.
Years ago.
There's some people getting their black belts in jiu-jitsu at like 80. So it's like, that's nuts. I never would have thought I would ever hear that, but that's great because you also see how that evolution is honestly it's progressing people's lives, because
It's making people look a lot younger.
it's making people look a lot younger. They're feeling a lot younger, and they're keeping all the mobility until that age, which I hope I can. I
Which
hope
is
so.
to a point too.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody knows how old we are. How old are you?
Fill in the blank.
Fill in the
Put it
blank.
on the screen. No.
We'll tell you next podcast, but we want you to guess our age, see how old we are.
Yeah. I'm actually curious because it goes up and down, and I want to see if you guys guess it right.
Yeah, so
If you do, so you can see if it works or not.
I guess.
There's a lot of blue lights here, so that could affect. But
Yeah. But yes, let us know how old you think and we are in the comments, and we'll let you know next podcast how old we are. Yeah, cool.
we'll see who's the closest.
But the point is just to prove it to you guys that we train our asses off. Not gonna lie, I think it definitely helps your health, to be real with y'all. So stay fit, stay healthy, stay good out there. Thanks for joining today's podcast. We're back and let's talk. It's been a minute. I'm just glad we got our lives back together. But we'll see y'all next week, and let us know how you feel about YouTube and everything. I'm fine with it. We're gonna try to get this audio on Spotify, if not already. But if there's a link down there, go ahead and click on that and go support us. If not, just wait. Okay, that's all I can say.
Give us feedback too.
Yeah, I appreciate you. What do you want to hear? Send us questions. Go to our Discord. Reach out to us on social media. Those are down in the description below if you have any questions on that. If you want to talk about joining our podcast as a special guest, or just if you want to talk about martial arts every now and then, there's a spot right here. Feel free. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Till next time.
Thanks, guys.